Hi guys and welcome back. This is part 7 of my C++ for game development series, and I know it's been a while, but we will eventually wrap up the series and come up with something a lot more interesting. I have stuff regarding, making a game with AI and stuff like that, so we'll head into that real soon. But today we'll be covering enums and switch statement. So what is an enum? So traditionally, in C programming, you generally use enums to give a name to integers basically. So for example, this is how you declare an enum. So I'll just show you guys how to do that. So type in enum. Let's say we call this month, for example, and you can open up your curly braces, and let's say we have January and February. January, and you have February. Now, let's say in your program you want to refer to the month January. If you would not use enumerations, you would basically have to have a variable like this. So you'd have int, let's say month index equals 0 or something like that. This is not really intuitive. So what you'd do is you'd use an enum. So you can declare an enum like this. So you can type in month. Now month itself is a type of its own right now. So month, let's say we call this current month equals, instead of 0 you can just use January. January will map to 0. So if I actually do this simple if check, so if current month double equal to, you could either use January or 0. So if it is equal to 0, let's just go ahead and print out we just started the year. Alright, so let's run the program. So as you can see, we just started a year. Let's say I make this February. Now we are not going to get that printed. Now this is fine. However, let's say we have something else. Let's say we have another enum called fruit. Now this is impractical, but this is just an example. There are many cases where conflicts like this will occur when you're making games as well. So let's just add apple and maybe a mango. Now, if I were to create another variable, let's just call this, let's say my fruit equals mango. Now there is a slight problem. Now if I go ahead and type in current month equals my fruit, you see we still get it printed. However, this does not make any logical sense. Obviously February does not equal to mango. So generally whenever we do use enums, we use a scoped enumeration and we use enum class rather than just enum. So I'll show you guys how to actually declare it. I'll just show you guys the syntax. So you can type in enum class, and over here as well you can type in enum class, and immediately you can notice that these comparisons became invalid. So you cannot do this. You have to use it along with the scope resolution operator. So you type in month with the scope resolution operator and February. Similarly, you type in fruit scope resolution operator mango, and you still see that the comparison isn't really valid, which is exactly correct. You cannot compare February to a mango. Now another thing you can do is you can give the underlying type as well. So you can type in colon. Generally you use uint8 in Unreal, uint8, which is basically a type diff for unsigned char. Basically it represents 1 byte. That's all you really need to take out of it. You can put in any type. Let's say you can put long for example, anything, but generally we use uint8, which is basically unsigned char. I think I made a typo, unsigned char. And let's say you did want to make this comparison for some reason, you can actually typecast it manually. So you can manually do int, and in parentheses you could put this in. So this is totally going to work. This is fine. However, it's kind of stupid. Shouldn't really do this. So now that we have this, let's actually see how we can actually use enums. Now, we generally use enums along with a switch statement. So what is a switch statement? So a switch statement allows us to select between multiple of these options. So let's say we have a variable called myFruit as we have over here. Let's just add one more. So banana, let's say. Now, let's assume this logic was elsewhere and we did not know that our fruit was mango. So what we can do is we can use switch, and in the parentheses we can put the variable here. So this can be a character, this can be an integer, or it can be an enum. It could be anything between which you want to select. So in our case it's an enumeration. So we can just put our variable, which is my fruit. Now what we can do is we can use something known as a case label. So I'll just show you guys the example and explain what it actually means. So if I type in case fruit mango, then let's just print I love mangoes. Ignore the typo, I did notice that. Alright, so what are we actually doing here? Now we are entering the switch block over here on line 24, and once we do enter it, we are checking, or rather we are telling the compiler, in case my fruit, which I think I probably misspelled. Okay, my fruit is equal to mango. So if my fruit is equal to fruit scope resolution mango, which in our case, for our reference, is just mango. If it is mango, so in case it is mango, you want to print this out. And we can actually add more case labels. So let's say we have case fruit banana. Let's just type in banana. Now if I go ahead and run this, you'll notice something strange. You see, you get I love mangoes. Okay, that was a typo. And you also get banana, but you aren't really supposed to get it. The reason is you actually need to give a break statement when you want to stop, because you can have multiple statements here. So let's say I had another variable or something, I wanted to take an input or perform some other logic. So generally you would do something like this for like weapon shooting and stuff. One example would be, in case your weapon is a fully automatic weapon, you'd set a timer for 1 by the fire rate time, and you would run the fire function once again to fire your weapon. So stuff like that. In case it's not a fully automatic weapon, you would just break. So stuff like that. I just gave an example. Now again, even here you can put a break, no need. But what if none of these options actually match? In that case, you can use the default label. So you can type in default, and you can just type in none matched or something. Now if I go ahead and run this, you would see you get I love mangoes. And if I change this to, let's say, apple, now you would get the default branch because none of these matched. And let's say we add in another one. Let's say we add in a strawberry. And if we actually change our variable, the default branch is going to run for that as well. So if we go ahead and run the debugger, so you see none matched got printed. So this is basically a switch statement, and this is how you use it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos. Goodbye.